Let's get ready to ramble! Hi guys, and welcome back to Let's Get Ready to Ramble. And as you can see, this episode is a Premier League special. Now, if you know me, I love my football. And the Premier League is the pinnacle of football, not only in this country, in the world. So I thought I would go through every team in the Premier League and review how I think they're going to do this season. We'll also have a table of how I think it's all going to end up come the end of the year. So without further ado, there is no time limit this week because there are 20 clubs. We're going to go through them as quickly as I can. And we start with Arsenal. So Arsenal need to buy a striker. But if the squad can stay injury free, the key players like Ozil, Sanchez, Giroud, Cech, Koscielny, Mertesacker. I know Mertesacker's injured at the moment. If they can stay fit, I think Arsenal will go close again. I know they were 10 points behind Leicester last year. Finished in front of us. Yes, thank you. But I do think Arsenal could be there or thereabouts. I don't think they're going to win it, but I think they'll be there or thereabouts. And that moves us nicely on to Bournemouth. Bournemouth. Now, they could find it tough going second time round. Obviously, second season syndrome, in inverted commas, as it's known. But I don't think they're going to suffer from that. I think Bournemouth are going to be okay. I think they're going to finish mid-table. They're not going to pull up any trees. But I think their football will get them through the tough season. You know, they're used to it now. They know what to expect. On the flip side of that, everyone knows what to expect from Bournemouth now. You know, there's nothing new. Obviously, having Callum Wilson fit from the start of the season. Hopefully he can remain fit throughout the season because I think he might make an England squad or two with a new look England team perhaps. So yeah, I don't think Bournemouth are going to have any problems this year. Can't say the same for Burnley, unfortunately. They need to buy. I saw an interview with Sean Dyche earlier that they're trying to buy players. They need to get bodies in. They have a lot of Premier League experience, some of them. Obviously, because they yo-yo, they've been up, down, up, down. I just think they're going to struggle, Burnley, to be honest. Bottom six, I've got them in the relegation zone. I think they're going to go down. And they're not the only ones. Moving on to Chelsea. Chelsea are not going down. I think they're going to be back to where they should be. They should be in the European places. I'm not sure where they're going to be. You'll see the Premier League table at the end of the video. But I think with Conte, it's a masterstroke that they've brought him in. I think he's a really good manager. The only thing I think they might struggle with is the change in formation. Because he loves to play a back three. 3 centre-backs with 2 wing-backs. And I don't think that Chelsea can play that very well. But we'll see. You know, obviously everyone's going to be slow out of the blocks, I think. Everyone's going to be testing each other out. And someone's going to make a break for it, obviously, at the beginning. But I think Chelsea will be all right come the end. Moving on to Crystal Palace. They need to buy a forward. I have a Crystal Palace friend at work. He is screaming every day, well, we need a forward. We've only got Connor Wickham. And they have only got Connor Wickham. Now, Connor Wickham is alright. But if you want to progress and do well in the Premier League, you need someone better than Connor Wickham. Potentially losing Balassi as well, that will be a huge blow. Because although Zaha and Balassi work well together, Balassi is probably the better of the two. Now, I know they're after Hal Robson-Kanu. And as I also said to the Crystal Palace fan, one Cruyff turn does not make you a good player. how Robson Kanu is not going to be the answer. So they could struggle. I'm going to see them in the bottom half, definitely. But they'll be clear of relegation, I'm sure. Everton. Everton could be our dark horses this year, I think. The only issue that you have, obviously, Ronald Koeman is a very good manager, but he's got lots of players coming in. Obviously, Balassi potentially from Palace. Ashley Williams has signed from Swansea today. So they'll need to gel quickly, but I think Everton could be thereabouts, sort of in the top 7 or 8. It's going to be, as I say, it's going to be a really tight league this year. Hull. Now, a lot's been said about Hull City. And obviously they don't have a manager at the moment. They haven't bought any players. They've got 13 fit players for their opening game with Leicester on Saturday lunchtime. Hull City are, in one word, they're doomed. They're doomed. They're going down, Hull. I truly believe that. I don't think I have ever seen a team so underprepared for a new season as Hull City have been. So I feel it's very sad, obviously, because they've got lots of ex-Tottenham players, Tom Huddleston, Michael Dawson, Jake Livermore. So it's going to be really sad, but Hull are going to be straight back down. Yeah. Moving on to Leicester, last season's champions, surprise champions. Surprised me, and probably you as well. They won't have as good a season as they did last year. Obviously, they're not going to win the title, I don't think. I don't see lightning striking twice, purely because everyone has now figured it out. That how they play, they get the ball quickly up the field to Vardy. They use Mahrez and the new fella Musa, who's a good player in fairness to him. But they'll still be inside the top 10. I don't think they're going to drop further down than that. I'd be surprised if they're outside the top 10. They might do okay in the Champions League purely because they're an unknown quantity to most European clubs. But if you've seen them play last season, you roughly know how they're going to play. Liverpool. They'll be in the race for the European places. I know I've said that quite a lot already. But it's wide open. As Arsene Wenger said this morning, anyone from 7 or 8 is going to win this year. Liverpool might be one of them. Now that Jurgen Klopp has had a full pre-season, he's had the time to get his pressing game across to his team. You know, they were playing it last season, but they got caught out a few times. And, you know, he likes the pressing game. He's a bit like Pochettino. He likes people to press the ball high up the field, win the ball back. The only issue they're going to have is keeping people fit, like Daniel Sturridge, Jordan Henderson, James Milner, people like that. People who keep the team ticking over the engine room. You know, Milner and Henderson particularly. So that's going to be a key thing for Liverpool this year. Manchester City. Now, I have Manchester City to win the title this year. And there's one reason. Pep Guardiola. Wherever Pep Guardiola has gone, rightly or wrongly, as people will say, he brings success. Whether he buys it is up for debate. He does obviously bring in the best players in the world, but you still have to make them work together. And that's what Pep Guardiola does. So Manchester City champions for me. Probably closely followed by Manchester United. Because again, Jose Mourinho is a born winner. He wins wherever he goes. Apart from his time at Chelsea last time, you know, there were external things that were going on that I think we didn't know about or that we knew about, and it was affecting the team. But they have a lot to prove, Manchester United. They've just spent £89 million on Paul Pogba. Waste of money, if you ask me. He's not a top-class player. He's a good player. He's a good player. But he's not a top-class player. And I think for £89 million, you want to be buying a world-class player. A guy that's going to get you 20, 30, 40 goals a season. Like a Messi, like a Ronaldo, like a Suarez, Bale. And Paul Pogba is not going to do that. unfortunately. He, as I said to a Manchester United fan the other day, he's a slight upgrade on Michael Carrick. Might be a bit harsh, but I think Michael Carrick's a very good player. So, there you go. Middlesbrough. Now, Middlesbrough are an interesting one. Middlesbrough have bought very well. I've noted that down. They've bought very well with a couple of exclamation marks. However, they have bought players that haven't done it in the Premier League before, really. Ivana Negredo, Victor Valdez, Fabio's the latest one. They're buying players that haven't got a very good reputation in this league. It doesn't, obviously, reputation mean nothing. It depends on the team you're playing in. But I think Middlesbrough are going to struggle. I really do. I don't think they've got enough, unfortunately. Which moves us on to Southampton. Now, Southampton is another interesting one. Another new manager. Obviously, they've lost Mane to Liverpool. Are they going to struggle? I don't think so. I think Southampton will be okay. I think they'll be in the top 10 safely. They won't do any better than that. I think that's going to be where their station is this year. But I'm interested to see Southampton because another new manager. And I'm just interested to see how they get on, really. Stoke. Stoke, you know what you're going to get from Stoke. They are going to be middle of the road. They might start off all right. They'll start to fade towards the end of the season. They've bought good players. Obviously, they've bought Joe Allen in. I haven't seen any others that they've bought in. And the one thing that Stoke always lack and always have lacked is goals. Goals win games. And they just don't have enough in their locker. They've got Shaqiri, they've got Arnautovic at the moment, Bojan, but there's not a key striker out there. There's not a £20 million striker. I mean, they're trying to sign Berahino. I don't think that's probably going to solve many things, but yeah. So Stoke, middle of the road. Sunderland, I think they're going to do better this year. Only slightly. I think David Moyes is a safe pair of hands. Although, given the Sociedad stuff, it's the Spanish league. He was new to it. He kept Everton afloat. Let's just look at it that way. They need to buy in key areas again. There's another club that needs to buy some players. Jermaine Defoe could be the saving grace for Sunderland, I think. Jermaine, obviously, as former Spurs player, another one. He knows where the goal is in this league, and I think that's going to be key for Sunderland because he will score the goals that will keep them up. Swansea. I knew I was going to do it once or twice. At Swansea, the loss of Ashley Williams will be a hammer blow, so they need to buy a quality centre-back quickly. They need to go out and spend some money. They've got £12 million for him. They're going to find somebody. They've bought in Llorente. That'll be interesting to see how Fernando Llorente gets on in England. And a couple of others. But I think Swansea are going to be close to the bottom. I normally have a rule with teams in relegation battles, and it's normally worked out. If you're down there 3 years in a row, generally the fourth time you'll go down. Just look at Aston Villa. That's all I know. That's all I'll say. Tottenham. What do I say about lovely Tottenham? Apart from the fact that Paul Mitchell is leaving, the head of recruitment, probably off to Leicester, we need to buy. We need another centre half. We need a backup goalie. We need a decent backup goalie. A creative player behind Harry Janssen. We're not going to have as good a season as we had last year. I don't believe we will. Lots of people have said we might make the top four. I would be happy finishing in the top six, although top four being the aim, as it is always with us. But I'm excited. Obviously, last season, Lane, going to be very sad come May. Wembley for the Champions League. Wembley next season. Brighter things are to come for us. I think we missed our chance last year to win the big one. So yeah, hopefully top 4. Fingers crossed. Watford, they need to start well. Watford, they had a blip last season when they had a poor run in the second half of the season. If they'd have had that in the first half as well, they'd have gone down. So, if they don't do that, they're going to be in trouble. Another new manager into the league. Another one that likes to play 3 at the back as well, which is interesting. I saw today. So will Watford be in trouble? I think Watford will be in the bottom half, but I think they'll steer clear. West Bromwich Albion. West Brom's an interesting one. Another club that's been taken over by foreign investment. Hasn't spent anything yet, although there is 2 weeks left of the transfer window. What to say about West Brom? There's not really much you can say about them. Tony Pulis knows how to keep you in the league. The question will come is if they have a bad start, will they pull the plug on TP? And I think they will. If they have a bad start, West Brom, they'll bring in someone else. They might give him till Christmas, but if they have a bad start, I can see them really struggling, West Brom. They might go down, but I think I can see them struggling. They'll have to get someone in who can save them. But Tony Pulis is a safe pair of hands, and I think if they have a good start, then he'll be there till the end, probably. And finally, last but not least, West Ham. West Ham, they will struggle in their new stadium. I know they lost to Juventus. They beat the silly team in the Europa League on Thursday. But everybody who moves into a new stadium, you look at the recent ones, Southampton, Arsenal, we'll probably do it in a couple of seasons' time when we move into our new place. You always struggle to begin with. It's the changing of the surroundings, the size of the pitch, the atmosphere. That's going to change quite a lot. Every West Ham fan says, "Oh, it's going to be really good." It is good. You know, it's good to see them in a taxpayer's haven. But it's different to the Bowling Ground, and I think they're going to struggle with that. And I really don't know why they paid 20 million for Andre Ayew, but West Ham will be in the top 10. That is one thing I can guarantee. So there you go, all 20 Premier League teams done. Let's have a look at how I think they're going to finish. So we've got Manchester City top. Now this is just an estimate. This is not me saying this is how it's going to be. This is what I think is going to happen. So Manchester City will finish first. They will be the champions next year. Manchester United second. Arsenal third. That pains me to do that. I put Tottenham in fourth because I'm optimistic. I think, obviously, with Chelsea having Kante in, it might take them a little while to get going. Liverpool in 6th, Leicester 7th, Everton 8th, Southampton 9th, West Ham just inside the top half. But again, as I say, these places, that's what I think. It'll probably be quite close to that. It might fluctuate a little bit. Stoke in 11th, Bournemouth in 12th, West Brom 13th, Palace 14th, Sunderland 15th, Swansea 16th, Watford 17th, just escaping the drop, with Middlesbrough, Burnley and Hull going down. So the 3 that come up are the 3 that are going through the trapdoor. And that is my Premier League predictions. Thank you very much for watching and listening to my lovely Premier League special. The Ramble is back in 2 weeks' time. If you've got any suggestions for the topics, for the 5 topics, we'll be back to the usual schedule next time. Please leave a comment, follow me on Twitter, and tell me on Twitter if you want to. And that's about it, and I'll see you next time around. Thanks very much for listening, watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.